Welcome in, Aggie fans, to episode 2 of our brand new film series called Film Room with Chris Jans. Coach, thank you for doing this. We had Jamario Jones in episode 1, a very exciting player. To you, defense is extremely exciting. I know you love it when your teams defend.
I do. I was raised in basketball that way as a player and a coach, where that end was first and foremost in terms of the philosophy that the coaches I played for and worked for most of my career put in, and I've adopted it for myself. And I just believe that defense travels. You know, sometimes when you get on the bus or the plane, you don't shoot quite as well on the road and get more distractions that way, but there's no reason that your defense can't be both good at home and on the road, and that's one of the reasons why we do that.
Let's roll the film, and as we start the film, tell us about some of the keys that you really preach to your team when talking about defense.
Yeah, we're going to talk about post defense today, and I think it starts there. I think if you want to be excellent defensive team in a particular year, you can be good any year, but to be elite, I think you have to have really good bigs that can defend, because they're like the last line of the defense. You know, they're the protectors of the paint most of the time. They are the ones that are able to hopefully switch on to little players and be able to guard people outside of the paint as well. And it's a big luxury to have when you have bigs that can defend. And we're gonna show you some things that we do with our post defenders when the ball goes into the post area, and different defenses that we apply.
And you really preach scouting report. I mean, your guys really have to follow the game plan, correct?
We do. And and the guys, they buy into it, and that makes it more fun for the coaches and the players. But our base defense is what we call dig, meaning when the ball goes into the post area, and you're guarding the passer or the strong side wing if it comes from the top, you're going to get halfway between the ball and your man, and then if that post player eventually bounces the ball, then you're going to try to dig it out of there. But that's your cue to go. If they don't bounce it and they want to shoot a turnaround jump shot outside the lane or a wild hook, we're going to let them shoot it. We're not going to dig that. But if they start bouncing the ball, we're going to give our bigs some help and try to dig it out of there. So you'll see it right here is a good example of it. The ball goes in the post. CJ's halfway. He dribbles the ball and he swipes at it. He swipes at the ball. We say take their teeth is one of the terms that we use. And obviously he gets a turnover and turns it into a basket. We love when we can score off our defense. Every coach in America will tell you that.
60 points per game allowed last year defensively, Coach. Is that a good number for you guys?
Yeah, with analytics and et cetera, data that we have available to us now, it's not so much points per game, it's points per possession more than per game, but it's still important. You know, if you're giving up a low number, you got a better chance to win, obviously. But another example of dig, they're halfway, ball goes in the post. Jabari and Evan are trying to dig it, but they're not done then. They've still got to recover to their man and close out on the shooter. And then we really preach, contest jump shots. Try to get it 6 inches out of their hand. Try to get as vertical as you can, and certainly don't foul a jump shooter. It's a 33% chance of going in on the average, and so it's a cardinal rule that we don't want to break in terms of fouling jump shooters. But it's a pretty good closeout, pretty good contest.
Can you make somebody a good defender? If they come here and they're not great coming in, can you make them a good defender?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think you can make people better defenders, but I don't subscribe to the thought process that anybody can be a good defender. I cringe when I hear that, because that's not true. You have to have a lot of qualities. It starts with your body. How much length do you have? How much size do you have? How much ground can you cover? How quick are you? What's your peripheral vision like? And then a lot of it comes down to, being trained to be in the right position, and then let your athleticism take over and make plays. But when I hear that, I'm like, that's not true. Because some kids have a better chance than others, depending on their size and their feel for the game. Okay, so Dig's our base defense, and then we employ some different double teams depending on who we're playing, and we practice that technique 2 or 3 days before the game. Certainly we do it, long before that, but we'll have it in our game plan where we got 3 or 4 ways to guard the ball when it goes into the post. And this has become one of our favorites, and we call it Passer Monster, just to keep it simple. And whoever's guarding the passer follows the ball and double teams the post. And we call double teaming the post monster. That's our terminology that we use. So right here you'll see Sean Buchanan's man will throw it. He'll go straight in there and double the post. And then the next guy over, which is Trev in this clip, he's responsible for the passer. So we rotate towards the ball and we leave the guy furthest away from the ball unguarded. And so if they want to skip it all the way across the court, I tell our guys all the time, if they can skip it across the court against our double team, we're probably going to lose. So we try to take away the obvious man that the passer wants to throw the ball to, and that'd be the one closest to him, which is Trev right now. He's what we call the lock-on guy. And then JoJo and Johnny are top and bottom on the weak side, seeing both, and they're just zoned up. And then they just read the passer and read his eyes, and then we're trying to, if we can, we're trying to turn him over. And JoJo's reading him, sees it, and makes a play on it. All right, then a different way we do it is called Monster 4. All right, so now we're saying when the ball goes in the post, all right, we're gonna monster, our 4-man's gonna monster, or we're gonna monster off their 4-man, whoever's guarding him is actually what I should say. So the ball goes into their 5, CJ Bobbitt's on the weak side, he's gonna come over and double the post. We're still gonna try to take away the ball side wing, the man that's more probable to get the pass out of the double team. And the other 2 guys are gonna be top and bottom on the weak side and kind of zoned up. And then on the pass out, we just scramble out of it. So here comes CJ, there's the double. Sean's locked onto his side, Trev's top, Terrell's bottom, and their rules are don't let anyone cross your face. Don't let anyone get inside of you so you can give up an easy basket. And then the monster guys, all right, they want to have high hands, trace the ball. You see Johnny, who's originally guarding 25, he's got no bait, can't give up baseline, and then the trap guy can't get split. And so if they want to dribble it away from the basket, fine, but you can't give up, some sort of spin or hook move, and then certainly you don't want to get the double team split and let them get to the basket. So we rotate out of it. Trell's going to close out, and another good contest. And we'll even go Monster 5. Like if another team has a good 4-man, all right, we'll just go Monster 5. So if anyone gets it in the post, a 2, 3, or 4, our 5-man is going to go double the post. And we normally do this if the 5 can't shoot it. We feel pretty good about leaving him. Again, we just got to get inside of him. So here Yvonne's gonna go, and sometimes we go off the catch, sometimes we go off the bounce. But we're in good position. Trev's inside, Sean's the top guy, and Terrell should be locking on to the ball side wing. We just scramble out of it. One thing about the post and the doubling is it's not just against really good players. I like doubling guys who are poor passers, and normally the bigs are poorer passers than the guards are. They're not as good at handling the ball, obviously, in most cases, and so we try to put them under duress. And some people are always like, why would you double a guy that can't score? I'm like, because we want to turn him over. We want to put pressure on him, and they're not used to it because they're not getting double teamed in their practices because everybody knows they can't score very well, so they just kind of leave them be. But I look at it as an opportunity to turn the other team over.
Coach, good stuff. Love hearing you talk about defense.
Thanks, Adam.
All right, coming up next week on episode 3 of Film Room with Chris Jans, we'll talk about post offense. For Coach, I'm Adam Young saying so long and thanks for joining us for Film Room with Chris Jans.